Let's go ahead and get this meeting called to order at 4:35. If we could have, Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, if we can have roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Matulik.
Present.
Trustee Young.
Present.
Mayor Soares.
Present.
Trustee Hodges.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. And then now on next to our next agenda item is our community forum. And then we have a list of names, and I think all those individuals are probably just walking through the security right now. If you want to read the list of the first three names at least. Oh, there we go.
The first speaker will be Kathleen Tejan.
Yes, Kathleen Tejan. And who would be after Kathleen so they can cue themselves?
Will be Nikki Arelno.
Arenal, yes.
And the next one is Tom Honey.
Yes, Tom Homey, yes. So if we could have Kat, Nikki, and Tom ready to speak, please come up to the podium. Yeah, Kat's.
Through the chair, in the
yes.
interest of time, given the three speakers that were the first signed up speakers aren't currently present,
Yes.
could we go with one member of the public who is here?
Let me see. Yes. Oh.
Calvin, is
Yeah,
that
what's your
I
answer?
see. Gio, can you come on up? And I'm going to, due to the number of speakers, I see the first three speakers coming up right now. So, and due to the number of speakers, I'm going to go ahead and limit it to 2 minutes. 2 minutes, please. So, first speaker is Kat Tejan.
Good evening. My name is Kathleen Solis Tejan, and I am the president of Vallejo Chapter 199. Everyone in this room understands that budget cuts are complicated and that sometimes difficult choices have to be made. And we understand that the reflection of that is very clear. $30 million is a lot. Right now, more than 150 classified employees are being cut. We understand that layoffs are necessary. We do get that. And that they say that $7.8 million will be saved. But our own budget projects more than $13 million in increased discretionary budget funding, including more than $8 million in additional communication spending alone. That is more than the layoffs in themselves. Why would you spend $8 million on communications but 7.8 on layoffs of people? That doesn't make sense to us. Wouldn't you want your people more than you would want a communications budget? Family and employees are asking very reasonable questions, and why are the adults who directly support our children being cut while spending on the outside services? The State Fiscal Crisis and Management Assistance Team has already warned the district about weaknesses in financial oversight because of known expenses we're missing from budget monitoring. That is not staffing issue. That is a management issue. Vallejo just emerged nearly 20 years from state receivership. That was 20 years of my 27 years of employment with VCUSD. I am not a new employee. I'm a loyal and dedicated employee. I have spent my career there and invested in students in Vallejo. Vallejo students deserve better. We have to do better. What that means, we're not sure. But CSCA is willing to help. We just need VCUSD to work with us. Not today, not tomorrow, now. Thank you.
Next speaker, Nikki Arenal. Nikki, come on up.
Good evening. Alright. My name is Nikki Arenal, and I'm an academic support provider here in Vallejo in the district. I grew up in Vallejo schools, was raised here. I'm raising my kids here. I have a daughter that attends Jesse Bethel High School and potentially another one that will be going to school in this district. As an academic support provider, I work with students who need extra support academically and emotionally, and some struggle to keep up in their classes. Others just need a familiar adult who notices when something's wrong. A lot of times, the ASP is the one who fills that role. When positions like mine disappear, students feel that loss right away. They notice when fewer adults know their names or when help takes longer to arrive. And they also notice when there's a revolving door of folks coming in and out, getting cut left and right, or when decisions are made to remove those trusted adults from their school sites or from the rooms, from the seats that they sit in, where they can find them every day. Families stay with the district when their schools are stable and their children feel supported. Limiting transfers may slow students from leaving on paper, but it doesn't rebuild confidence. Investing in students and the people who support them does. Nearly $770,000 in federal education funding went unused, while communication spending increased by more than $8 million. Before removing the adults students rely on every day, shouldn't every available resource be fully used first? I'm speaking not only as an employee, but as a parent who wants every Vallejo student to succeed. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Next speaker is Tom Hoey. And just if you just walked in, due to the number of speakers, I've limited the speakers to 2 minutes instead of 3 minutes. So if you need to adjust your speeches accordingly, please do so.
Good evening. My name is Tom Hoey. I'm the senior lead painter with the district. I'm also on the layoff list. I went to school in Vallejo, and my daughter did too. I spent my career maintaining the buildings where Vallejo students learn every day. Our work is about creating environments where students feel proud of their schools. But students notice when classrooms are uncomfortable or campuses stop feeling welcoming and safe. Layoffs mean fewer skilled workers maintaining our campuses. That affects safety, morale, and the confidence families have in their schools. The district says these layoffs are unavoidable, yet discretionary spending is increasing by millions of dollars. At the same time, the staff who support students are being reduced. We just came out of receivership, which is 2 decades in that, because financial oversight failed. Please do not repeat those mistakes by cutting people who keep our schools safe and functioning every day. Thank you.
Next up is Butch Crane. Butch, come on up.
Good afternoon. My name is Butch Crane. I am the senior lead groundskeeper in the district. I am also on the layoff list. My connections to the Vallejo schools run deep. I went to the Vallejo schools. My wife went to the Vallejo schools. All 4 of our children went to the Vallejo schools. I have a granddaughter in the schools now. One of my daughters is a principal at one of the schools now. Grounds crew do much more than maintain appearance. We remove hazards, maintain safe walkways, create environments where students can both focus on learning and play. School closures are already disrupting families. Cutting the staff who maintain the campuses adds to this instability. Your own equity analysis shows closures impact vulnerable students at the most. If we want families to believe in Vallejo schools and choose to stay, we must show them that their schools are cared for. Please reconsider these layoffs. Thank you.
Next up speaking is Giovanni.
Buenas tardes a todos ustedes. Mi nombre es Giovanni Aspeitia y soy un empleado del Distrito Escolar de Ciudad de Vallejo como un técnico de recursos humanos. También soy el tesorero de la sección 199 con la Asociación de Empleados Escolares de California y un miembro de esta comunidad, y también fui un alumno de este distrito escolar, al igual que mi hermana. Es preocupante mirar cuántas escuelas se están cerrando. Estas nuevas generaciones de familias que están empezando a pertenecer a nuestra comunidad, es lamentable ver que el distrito escolar no está pensando en el futuro de ellos. También ver cómo están eliminando tantos miembros del personal que es indispensable para las escuelas, y no solo eso, sino ver que muchos estudiantes se quedarán sin el apoyo de esas personas que de alguna u otra manera les ayudó a convertirse en mejores ciudadanos. Por ejemplo, el personal de seguridad, que hace que las familias se sientan seguras de dejar a sus hijos en las escuelas. Los conserjes desde temprano se aseguran de que nuestras escuelas se mantengan limpias, y esas mismas personas son los últimos que se van a su casa. Los de mantenimiento, que se aseguran de que todas nuestras escuelas tengan un buen mantenimiento. Por ejemplo, el aire acondicionado, cortar el césped, pintores, plomeros, soldadores, carpinteros y otros más. Al igual que el personal de oficinas, asistente de maestros, las que ayudan en la hora de almuerzo, las que se encuentran en las librerías, nuestros proveedores de apoyo para la salud mental y cualquier otra posición que se mira en las escuelas o detrás de los escenarios. Ahora, no solamente están afectando a los estudiantes, sino también a los empleados que están en la lista de reducción de personal. Algunas de estas personas apenas están sobreviviendo con el salario que tienen para poder apoyar a sus familias y sobresalir con sus vidas, ya que son las cabeceras de sus hogares. Y la mayoría de nosotros nos preguntamos, ¿quién va a hacer el trabajo? El distrito dice que nosotros haremos con menos, ya que ellos dicen que estamos en una deuda de $30 millones. ¿Cómo va a ser posible eso cuando el distrito escolar está contratando a personas de agencia para que vengan y hagan nuestro trabajo?
Tiempo.
Now translate all of that when the bilingual community liaisons and the bilingual tutors are on that layoff list.
Next speaker is April Nelson.
Good evening, board members and attendees. I'm a special ed educator. We would not be here without our kids. So my question today is, when are we going to put our kids first? I have been asking for help repeatedly since November to no avail. It seems to me the budget cut is more important than the students who cannot speak up for themselves. Our special ed kids needs children are, sorry, I said that totally backwards. Our special ed children are at a heightened risk for child abuse and neglect. So it is our job to make sure this does not happen. In our district. Also, the district receives federal funding from the government for special education to be used especially for our children, not for new furniture. So please address our special children's needs. They come first. That's why we are here. That's why we have a district for all of our district's children, not just special ed. Thank you.
Next speaker is Dave Belloff.
Thank you, Chair and members and staff. I'm Dave Belloff. Some of you know me. I'm speaking tonight as a private citizen. Thank you. I'd like to say that none of the points being made tonight are really going to matter if we are not proactive in combating the attack on our schools. Our public schools are under attack by private and so-called charter schools and other people throughout the country. We must do a much better job marketing and defending against the false perceptions that are spread by special interests and misinformed citizens. Have you seen this flyer? This came in my mail. With the closures of schools, all these other private schools and charter schools are trying to steal the children from us, which is just going to make our district go down even further. So we need to be very active to combat these directly, point by point, sentence by sentence, word by word. We can say things like free enrollment. This one here says 50% off the enrollment fee for students coming from the closing Pennycook, Highland, and Lincoln schools in Vallejo. We need to be doing our own marketing 5 times more than this and let people know the benefits of our schools before someone takes them away from us. And the people that's going to take them away from us are the people who don't combat this. Thank you so much.
And so through my clock management, I've realized we've used up 13 of the 15 minutes of the community forum. If there's one more speaker that wants to speak, you are welcome to speak while we still have 2 minutes left for this 15-minute forum. If anybody willing? Anybody willing? Manny, do we have anybody online?
Through the chair, no speakers at this current time.
Okay. Any last call for any speakers for the last minute that we have available? Oh, come on up. And if you could please state your name for the record since you weren't on the list here. Go ahead and say.
Scott Meyer. Hello, board. I just want to be real. This past weekend, we had a big flood at Federal Terrace. I'm the one that found that. Prior to that, we had another one earlier in the week. But you know what? I did not see one administrator, one board member, or one manager there. I spent my whole weekend there pumping that school out so that the kids could come back to school Monday, which is not happening because the leak is so bad that we can't get the kids in there because it's leaking faster than we can pump it out. But you know what? But I went to a basketball game at Hogan because I was on call, and I had to go to another call at Hogan. And there was a board member there, or not a board member, but an administrator there. And I said, oh, you'll come to the fun stuff, but you can't come to the emergencies. And she said, oh, what emergencies? And I said, the one at Federal Terrace that's flooding right now. She said, I had no idea. You guys got to wake up.
Thank you. That ends our community forum. So I'd like to briefly speak on this. So I have the unique opportunity here to sit up here as an elected official, but I'm also an employee of VCUSD and I work for the school district. So I have that unique experience to see how things work and how things run. And I know from wearing both hats up here, the city of Vallejo is stronger when the school district, when VCUSD is stronger, and vice versa. VCUSD is stronger when the city of Vallejo is stronger. And I know we all are bound by contracts from both sides, and we are going through the same thing here with the city of having to look at some budget deficits. So through my decades of experience of being on both sides of this conversation, When things go to court, there's typically one winner and a big loser, or there's no winners at all. My recommendation is if both parties on both sides here, and even at the city level, if both parties can sit down and have a conversation to make sure that both sides are winners in this thing, and have that conversation to make sure that it is equitable and it is fair, because remember, this is for the students and the families of Vallejo. We can't keep bleeding our parents and students and going to these other schools and these charter schools. So we need to maintain the schools that we have and make sure we have the correct personnel to do it with, so. All right, with that, anybody else, any comments? Seeing none, let's go ahead and move on with the rest of the agenda here. On the consent calendar and approval of the agenda. Is there a motion on the table?
I'll move approval.
I second it.
Okay. It's been moved and second to approve the calendar and approval of the agenda. Roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Matulik,
Aye.
Trustee Young,
Aye.
Mayor Storrs,
Aye.
Trustee Hodges.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you for that. Next are presentations and commendations. I see we have none. Next on the agenda are the interagency updates. I see Sergeant Hollis. Did you have any updates for us? And I thought I saw Gabe out there. Okay, there he is. Okay. Come on up, Sarge.
Yes, so, hello, I'm Sergeant Hollis, Public Information Officer with the Vallejo Police Department. And the few updates that I had today was on just our collaboration with the schools at VCUSD. With Stephen Manor on February 19th, the Vallejo Police Department, iHeart Community School Services, and Toro University, we hosted the Eat the Rainbow Family Night, where we educated the youth on how to create meals that were healthy with a variation of multiple vegetables and different colors on how to make healthy choices at the dinner table. This coming March, we are going to be working with the
Thanks for pausing, Sarge. Yeah. Yep. Thank you for your patience, Sarge. Go ahead.
Yes, this coming March, we're confirming the dates for our collaboration with the Rotary Club to pass out dictionaries to all the third graders at VCUSD through their elementary schools. And on March 7th, we will be having our planning dates for, March 9th, we're going to have our planning dates for late night basketball, which is a collaboration of all the youth in Vallejo, including the VCUSD students. On March 7th, we're going to have our Community Police Academy, so hopefully we'll see a lot of parents for VCUSD that will come to the police department and learn all the ins, outs, policies, and procedures that the Vallejo Police Department display for our community. On March 9th, no, I already said March 9th. March 10th, we have the Jesse Bethel Law Academy student tour. So the students of the Law Academy are going to come to the Vallejo Police Department. We're going to host an open house. They're going to talk to all the men and women that make the police department run, and that includes our detectives, that includes our CSI, our dispatchers, our records clerks, all the various job opportunities that will be provided for, especially our youth once they become of age, and hopefully they come and work with the Vallejo Police Department. And one thing that's in the makings that we're working with Principal Lorena Hernandez with Cave Language Academy is that we're going to host a community meeting in partnership with the School Site Council and the English Learner Advisory Committee, and we're going to call it Cops Connecting with the Community, where the Cave Elementary family and residents in the area will get a chance to speak to Chief Ta and ask some of the tough questions that are concerning the community regarding immigration and our department's policies and procedures and how we are keeping our community safe. So that will be on March 31st, and for those that aren't able to attend, there will also be a Zoom option available. So it's going to be a very educational day there at Cave Elementary. So I'm really happy that Principal Hernandez opened the school up for that communication, for that gathering. That's all I have.
Thank you for that, Sergeant. Are there any questions or comments for Sergeant Hollis? Seeing none, thank you, Sarge. I'd like to call up Gabe. Come on up, Gabe, for GVRD. And are there any other interagencies here that are
Through the
gonna be
chair,
speaking?
Public Works is here as well.
Oh, Public Works is here? Okay, thank you. Yes.
Don't want to cough all over the mic. Oh, that's right. That's a little nicer. Good evening, council, board, staff. So a few updates with GVRD. We're about 60% done with the blueprints for the Franklin Fields. We have a 30-year lease on that, and we have a $7.5 million grant from the state to fix those up. So we hope to begin within this year. The state did give us an extension. Well, they gave everybody an extension to complete projects, so we hope to have it done by 2028. Another thing, the $125,000, I believe it's from Measure P grant for youth. I will have our recreation director attend a future 2+2 meeting so he can also give an update on how that money is being spent. Late night basketball is around the corner again. We'll be working with the nonprofits who are tying that together. Hopefully GVRD can have more assistance, not just with financial, but we prefer to give more assistance with facilities. So the gym at Franklin will hopefully be utilized, and we're working with the school district for getting some parking in there too. Another thing, just a heads up, we had major theft, copper theft at Wilson Park. The copper and the lights, not just the lights for the fields, but also the facilities, major hit. We're trying to figure out costs just even for temporary lights, even bringing in generators for the seaweed to play. We'll keep everybody updated on that. And let's see, I will be retiring July 3rd. 35 and a half years with public agencies from City of San Mateo, City of Petaluma, and then I just hit 15 years here with the Greater Vallejo Rec District. So I'm proud of what my staff and I have done since I've been here. And again, we appreciate making Vallejo better. I know sometimes people say, oh, Vallejo doesn't deserve nice things or nice playgrounds. I am a contrarian. I think we all deserve nice parks, recreation, playgrounds, community centers, and pools. So it's been nice working with staff. I'm not gone today, but it's been nice working with the various staff from all the agencies that I've met, and I appreciate this town. So thanks. Any questions?
Yes, any questions for GVRD? Go ahead, Mayor.
No, just appreciation, and if there's anything that the city, anybody can do to support the effort at Wilson Park. I don't know what that looks like. It might just be trying to hustle for resources or whatever that is. Please keep us updated.
I will.
We certainly don't have our own funds at the moment, but we can help hustle for resources.
Yeah. I've got staff working every day trying to solve a puzzle on that. So thank you.
Any other questions, comments for Gabe? Well, personally, I would like to, I mean, I was surprised to hear that you're of your retirement, and I'm honored to have been able to work with you over the years, and all the great work that we've done over those years, and seeing the great things that we've done. And I look forward to whoever's going to be coming in to fill your spot to continue that work. So thank you for 35 years of service to this whole community, but specifically here, 15 years here in Vallejo. So thank you.
Thank you.
Next, I guess Public Works is up.
My understanding is that Public Works is here to respond to questions related to
okay.
the later agenda items. So if that's okay, you can
Gotcha,
call
okay.
on them when they're ready. Thanks.
Appreciate that. Any other interagencies here? I see VCUSD sitting out there. Anything from VCUSD that you would like to share? Anything? Anybody? Nope, not at this time. Okay, moving on. Next up is our youth coordinator updates. I see Victoria Grace Barksdale. Come on up.
Good afternoon, council, trustees, and staff. Victoria Grace Barksdale, Youth Coordinator for the City of Vallejo. Just a couple things today. I want to publicly acknowledge our selected youth delegation that's going to be traveling to the National League of Cities to represent the Vallejo youth community in March of this year. We have from Jesse Bethel High School, Baroj Arbob and Tatara Arbob. From Vallejo High School, Verania Cornejo Perez and Zerva Urshad. And from John Finney High School, we have Josiah Suspila and Lanaya Dunn. They came and did an introduction to City Council at this past meeting, and just always a really great group of kids. I also want to acknowledge the 2x2 members that helped to score these applications. It is not an easy process. We have really great applicants every time we have this opportunity. So I appreciate feedback on how we can make this, more robust program, more equitable, and just an overall win for the city and the school district. I also want to mention tonight I'm going to be presenting to the GVRD board regarding a $300,000 that was allocated from the city of Vallejo to supplement youth scholarships, programs, free days at different parks and recreation areas. So we're going to get some feedback from the GVRD board before bringing it back to council to approve a grant agreement through Measure P in April. And we've been talking a little bit in our office about different events that are coming up that we always want to make sure that VCUSD is aware of, and can push these events for not only families and youth to attend, but also for volunteer opportunities for high schoolers. We have Earth Days coming up April 25th, 2026. That's on the 300 block of Virginia Street. It's 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. It's a celebration of Earth Day, and there's plenty of different environmental justice related resources, booths, activities for families, internship opportunities, volunteer opportunities, as well as the 4th of July parade. We once had really robust participation from youth groups and schools and sports teams on the schools and bands, and we really want to bring that back. And so as we near the summertime, we want to keep putting that in you guys' ears to push this information out to your school sites so we can have, the art club, the dance club, bands, football teams come and just really celebrate being VCUSD and being Vallejo. Any questions?
Any questions for our youth coordinator?
Thank you.
No, thank you. Next on the agenda is our action item, and Manny, if you could still start if you could start the 2-minute clock for these for the action item. I gotta read this thing, right? Okay. And so members of the public wishing to address the 2x2 committee on action calendar items are requested to submit a completed speaker card to the secretary or sign in at the kiosk. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes pursuant to Vallejo Municipal Code Section 2.02.420. And as we have the clock go down, I do not see any in-person speakers
Through
signed
the
up.
chair, we do have one in-person speaker.
Oh, we do? Oh. I'm sorry, I didn't scroll far enough. So I see Dave Belef, come on up.
If I play my cards right, you'll be tired of me all night, but no, this will be it. I'll reduce the introductions. I'm Dave, and speaking as a private citizen once again, addressing the item about the summer programming, et cetera. How can this 2x2 committee help with that? And by pushing and shoving and screaming and yelling and giving guidance to the city and other agencies that you collaborate with so that we get funding for every child in the city of Vallejo to attend camps in the summer. I think we should be providing science camps for every, well, we can talk about the specifics of it, but usually it's 4th and or 6th grades and then sometimes high schools as well. I'd like to see it happen every couple years. Recreation programs, leadership skills training such as just discussed a few minutes ago. We need to spend more money on GVRD programs. There should be no reason a child can't attend a summer program in Vallejo. We need to get our priorities straight. Our priorities need to be the children. I love to have a smooth road, but it's more important that we have children attending programs than worrying about a little pothole here and there. I think with enough work and enough effort, Vallejo School District, Vallejo City, GVRD, each and every one can have programming for youth that rivals the best in the country, in the world. YMCA, the universities, Cal, scouting, boys and girls. I think there's no reason we couldn't. I don't necessarily mean in the size of the program, the dollars they spend, but I mean the quality and quantity of training that we provide to these students. And so I'd like to encourage the 2x2 committee to work really hard on that and make that a priority and see that we can help get every child some form of summer programming. And let's be honest, also the other programming, winter, spring breaks as well, after school, before school. With that said, April 19th, Dan Minnie Elementary School, unofficially announced, but I've got confirmation. There will be a bicycle rodeo, educational bike rodeo. There'll be a sponsorship and collaboration between the school and Safe Routes to School. We'll have the Bay Area Bike Mobile there. The Solano County Public Health will have their bike blender there, making smoothies, bicycle-powered smoothies. And we welcome some of you to show up and maybe allow a balloon to be tossed your way or maybe an inner tube thrown around you. It might be a little fun. So April 19th, 10 to 2 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. I don't see any more in-person speakers. Manny, anyone online?
No speakers online at the time.
Seeing none, I'm going to go ahead and close the community forum. And if I could have the secretary please read out action item 9A.
Discussion of summer programming for youth.
Thank you for that. Is there a presentation or any conversation on that?
Well, I was going to share just
from
the
you. Thank you,
VCUSD
Superintendent. Yes.
side,
Go ahead.
what some of the offerings we have this summer. I figured that will help spark the conversation with the 2+2. So good afternoon, evening, everyone. So our expanded learning program, which during the school year is kind of considered our after-school programming, they will have from June 15th through June 26th. There will be breakfast, lunch, and snacks served daily. There'll be programming that's balanced with academics, STEAM, which includes science, technology, arts, math, SEL lessons, which is social emotional learning lessons, sports and movement activities, arts and crafts, and other enrichment activities and clubs, wellness and mental health services provided on campus through our wellness team as well. The locations for those are Stephan Manor, Dan Minnie, and Federal Terrace, so kind of spread out through the city. You don't have to attend that school to attend the program. It is open across Vallejo. So we're just pending some confirmation with the operations team just to make sure those are the three, but that's the current plan. For high school, we do have high school summer school that's offered. It'll be at Vallejo High School between June 16th and July 17th. And then we also offer the extended school year through special education, and that's for students who have expanded school year in their IEPs, and that's from June 16th through to July 13th.
Thank you for that, Superintendent. Any questions or comments on that? Mayor Source.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And I had one of the things that I had brought up to kind of GVRD and had been speaking with initial conversations with Sharita at the school district was just how we might coordinate to augment the existing, maybe not formalized summer programs where you enroll in a program, but just having activities that folks can go to and filling the gaps. And I had made contact with a couple of organizations, resources that might be able to offer us funds or support if we can identify some options, either maybe at our school sites in a similar way that we've done the late night basketball, adding another program to that, adding another sport to that, something like a soccer or baseball, softball, or flag football, and was starting that conversation and kind of wanted to bring it up here to see if there are maybe some low-hanging fruit that we can start to pilot to offer our young people more activities in the summer. And this is just something that I think we all are aware of since the sports gym closed, and we've been hearing pretty much nonstop from our young people that there just aren't things to do in Vallejo. Not every student, especially our older students, our high school students, want to enroll in a specific camp or a specific league or a specific program. Some of them are looking for summer jobs, but being able to offer open, sports activities on, Fridays or Saturdays or Sundays would be a real benefit. So it started out with a conversation with the student trustees and kind of then expanded a bit, and I'm kind of bringing it here for thoughts and feedback, and my role would basically just be the hustling, as I said earlier, and connecting with funders if anyone has any proposed ideas for this I'm feeling like probably out of the school district or the Parks District would be where this programming would come from.
Go ahead, Superintendent.
I just want to add, I just had a meeting yesterday with the Working Waterfront Coalition. Now, that program is an adult-based program, 18 plus, but we are looking at trying to partner with them to maybe develop some summer internship programs for 9th, 10th, 11th graders to get them interested. So that's something we're in early discussions about, and that's a great opportunity for our youth, especially those who are maybe are into going CTE routes, pathways, career technical ed. Having the maritime work be here, so close in our backyards, and Cal Poly here. So we're really trying to find those partnerships to have other opportunities for our students as well, especially in the summer.
Thank you for that. And just a quick question, and this may have been buried in some of the clubs, because I know in the past, Brick Space has been probably the most popular activity for a lot of these summer programs. And are they participating this year in these?
I don't have the full list of who's supporting the extended learning programming, but I know Brick Space is obviously one of our partners in that work. So that's something, I haven't seen the full list of who all will be serving the summer program yet.
Sounds good. I figure because they typically are part of that, especially over the spring break type of stuff. So, so looking forward to that. Any other questions or comments for the superintendent regarding the summer programming for the youth?
Can I add one more thing?
Oh, by all means, yes.
Thinking of our public commenter, these programs are free. Just to put it out there, they're free. You don't have to pay 50% of anything for it.
We have capacity for every student.
We try to accommodate everyone we can. I can't tell you exact capacity, but just for example, our expanded learning program now in our schools that offer care up to 6 o'clock most days, and in some schools we're starting to pilot before school care. We're talking about as early as 6:30 in the morning, potentially. Also free for our families. We currently serve over 2,000 students in that program.
All right. Well, thank you for that, Superintendent. Moving on to the next item, if we could have the Secretary read action item 9B.
9B, discussion on repurposing VCUSD school sites. This is a reoccurring agenda item for discussion.
Thank you that, and I take it that Superintendent
Yeah,
O'Regan?
I just give a little context. For those who've been paying attention to us, we are going to be closing 3 additional schools next year. Having come off the heels of closing 2 schools, we did repurpose what was formerly Vallejo Charter School, formerly Springstown Middle School. It's been formerly a couple things. That is our Family Resource Center. That campus itself is being looked at for sale, so we're in that process, but we know that can take significant time before we sell a property. But that is something we are looking at. We have our 3 new campuses that will be closing, our Highland, Lincoln, and Pennycook. And we're in the process of developing either programming, what services we can place at these schools. We're definitely interested in public agencies supporting, thinking about Lincoln and specifically that community, what kind of resources we can provide for that community. It's centrally located. We're looking at preschool programming as well. Can we expand that? We do have the preschool programming that's at formerly Loma. So those are options, but I think this would be a great discussion for the 4 of you to sort of discuss and talk about what are things you might want to see on these campuses. Personally, I'd love to see schools there again someday. That would be the goal as we grow.
Thank you for that update, Superintendent. Any questions or comments? Mayor Soares?
No, I would just say, yeah, I mean, obviously we don't want to fully repurpose all of them. We want to have some schools available again, but being strategic and thinking about if there are opportunities for workforce housing. We obviously have, I mentioned this, I can't remember if it was before we turned over the VCUSD reps on the board here, that we really have 2 great examples of what this can look like in Franklin Middle as a public, basically turning into a rec center, and then with Beverly Hills getting repurposed for First Five. So we can hopefully be thought leaders in this space and turn a really unfortunate situation for the families that are losing their schools into something really positive for the community. And just wanted to make sure that we're constantly in touch and aware of any ways that we in our roles can help as the district figures out what you all are doing with these sites.
I do want to add, so last night the board had a study session with the main focus being facilities and facilities master planning. So we are due for an update to our facilities master plan. Based on how state funding is working now, the recommendation is that it gets renewed every 5 years. So the last time we renewed our facilities master plan was 2019. So we're definitely due. We're about 7 years from that time. And so we are looking specifically at, where we can go beyond the safe, warm, dry, which is where we did a lot of our fixes over the last decade, is really trying to ensure that our campuses are safe, warm, and dry. But now we want to start thinking bigger, thinking what does our community really want to see on our campuses, and what campuses can we truly modernize, because they're due. They're really due for that. And so that's something that the board discussed last night. That process is kicked off, ready to go. We're going to be doing some community forums at schools, town halls, trying to get input around our campuses.
Thank you for that. And I know the mayor and I and even the city manager have had conversations. The fact that this is a standing item on this particular agenda, it actually got us thinking from a city standpoint of repurposing some of our facilities. And the first thing that came to mind for us was and this was back a couple of months ago, where the idea of warming centers, is there a way that we can repurpose both, whether they're VCUSD or city facilities. And I think that's part of the master plan of our facilities that we in the city are actually going through right now, of identifying our asset management program right now and identify what facilities we currently have and what could potentially be used or repurposed for items like a warming center, and especially for those that are unhoused. So those are the type of things that we have been trying to think outside the box and kind of see what we as this body can do and what we have available to us to potentially work together on and collaborate on such facilities, understanding there's the liability issue, there's the programming issue, and there's the services type of thing of who's overseeing a lot of this stuff. So all of that is part of the conversation. But first, we need to start with the facilities in itself to see what is available and what is potentially something that we can repurpose or reuse somewhere down the line. And I think this is a conversation between both of our agencies to see what can we do in a combined effort from that standpoint. So are there any other questions or comments at this point? Seeing none, let's go ahead and move on to action item 9C, and if the secretary could read that off.
9C, discussion regarding graffiti near school sites. And through the chair, I think we can combine this with the 9D, discussion on the VFOG program.
I was actually going to point that out because this was actually my request to have these two items on here. So and I guess I can start this conversation here. So over at Dan Mini, and this happened over the Thanksgiving break, I identified and realized there was a lot more graffiti and gang graffiti that were coming up on residential people's fences. And when kids were walking to school, coming down the main thoroughfares or arterials like Mini Drive, along with Meadows Drive, and along Elliott there. And so, and for some reason, it just happened to be over the Thanksgiving break, and I think the fact that that's a holiday window where many people are probably off, and obviously kids are idle at that point. So that's potentially where that came from. And for those that may not be aware, the city of Vallejo has what's called a VFOG program, and what that is, it's a program where we actually address graffiti. And to where we have a program, it's run through, I think it's Shelley Loft-Miller is the one that's in charge of that, that if there are graffiti on someone's personal property, then they can reach out to the city of Vallejo and point out those areas, and then they would work with the private citizen and private owner of how to best remedy that, whether that be just putting on, providing materials, or if they need support, having it painted of that nature. So those are the type of things that the VFOG program is a part of. And so I raised this question of, I noticed that at Dan Mini, I didn't know about what was the extent of that at potentially the other schools. So I would like to think that the other school sites could help bring that to our attention, because in my rough estimate, I would like to think that we are graffiti free, at least from a 2 to 4 block radius of any school, because that is starting to impact, especially at the elementary school level, and especially at Dan Mini, because that's a recruiting tool for a lot of the gangs out there, and we want to obviously combat that. And so I would like to see if there are any other schools that may be having this issue, and to bring that to our attention, and to connect them with Shelley Loft-Miller or our Public Works Department that would be able to help potentially address that. So if anybody at the school sites has that. Yes.
I did ask Director Tisby if he'd be willing to speak on this. He probably has the best lens when it comes to that question. Thank you, Director Tisby.
Good evening. George Tisby, Director of Site Safety, Custodial Services, and Safety for the School District. And yes, you are correct. Dan Mini has popped up on the list. We have this graffiti in the school sites is ebb and flows throughout the year, but in particular this year at Vallejo High School and Jesse Bethel High School, we have been dealing with a lot of gang graffiti. Of course, we make sure staff identifies that, calls our office, and we try to take that down immediately. But a couple other areas, close to Highland on Mariposa, a lot of community homes are getting hit, fences. And then also, as you mentioned, Dan Mini, and we also get a lot of graffiti by Corbis Field on the railroad tracks. Recently, working with the city, we had what's the word I'm sorry, I'm having a little brain freeze.
Take your time, take your time.
We had an encampment that was removed. It was causing a lot of problems, not only for Vallejo High School, but also for John Finney High School. We were dealing with a lot of theft, a lot of graffiti, just a lot of loitering in general, especially after hours. And from my teammate that I worked with before at GVRD, I was just thinking about something. We're all dealing with that huge issue of copper theft right now. And I would really love to maybe start collaborating with the city, GVRD, and also the school district, so we can all put our heads together to see how we can combat that. Because when our copper is stolen from the school district, students cannot use that classroom because of heat, whatever. So we really have to find a way to curb this activity because it's affecting all of us.
Thank you for that, Director Tisby. Any questions or comments for Director Tisby? Yes, Trustee Hodges?
It's about the VFOG program.
Oh, yes, go
I just
ahead.
had a question.
Sure.
Is there a cost for the property owners when they reach out for that program?
If the city manager, because I'll let the city manager address
I don't
that.
think there is a cost to the owners. There's information on the city's website. The property owner needs to consent to allow volunteers to enter their property and do the graffiti abatement. But the work is done by volunteers. The materials are provided. The consent is good for 6 months to allow volunteers to access the property and do the repainting. And we're happy to share information with the 2x2 committee so that the school district can promote that. So you all are aware of it, and the school district could promote it if it would like. I think that's the relevant information about the VFOG program.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry, I wanted to say one other thing, which is we're happy to have our community engagement team, the police department, reach out to you and also talk with with Gabe and his staff, GVRD, to talk about whether there are any ways to collaborate on the site security. You may know that the city recently engaged a private security firm to do some private neighborhood patrols around the city to kind of be force multipliers for the police department. And I know that Chief Taw has offered that he'd be open to a conversation to find out whether those site patrols might be something that we might be able to incorporate VCUSD and GVRD sites into those site patrols. So I'll connect with the superintendent and the general manager of GVRD to find out who the right points of contact are to have that conversation.
Yes, definitely. The superintendent leads meetings. We have meetings with VPD, I believe quarterly, and I have a great connection right now with Captain Bautista. He's an email away, and that feels really good when we're dealing with school safety. So having that route of communication is really helpful for myself and for my team in the school district. So thank you so much.
And if I will, I'll just add, pursuant to this issue of graffiti near school sites, Councilmember Matulik did identify some, and we've asked our Public Works crew and our code enforcement crews to pay particular attention when they're in some of the corridors that he's identified. But if there are other areas, and you mentioned some, if there are any others where you'd like city staff when they're out and about in the field to keep their eyes open for graffiti that then they can put on the list to remediate, we'd be happy to have our staff do that.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Mayor Shores?
Yeah, I appreciate that update. Thank you. My question or sort of the idea to raise would be, is there any way we might be able to engage students in some of this, particularly at our high schools? Because I know that there are a lot of students that want to volunteer. They have to do volunteer hours. The seniors do, and they're looking for sort of structured ways to help. Could they be VFOG volunteers? Could they organize beautification projects at the high schools? And maybe, by doing some projects at the high schools, that might disincentivize some of the graffiti because there'd be a more shared sort of ownership of the space. I'm just curious if there are any current mechanisms where we might engage students in that.
Trustee Young?
That's a good idea, but we have to be very mindful that that's gang activity. So we can't involve our students in that because that's a recruitment tactic. So if they're seen removing, they're targeted. So we need to let our students try to be educated and let it be at that. We can't put them out there in any form a shape or sign.
And thank you,
Yeah.
Dr. Young. I was going to probably mention
Yeah,
something
that's-
very similar. Just
That's a good point. So they wouldn't be able to do that, but maybe there's a way to have them do something completely separate around, some beautification things out completely
You'd be
separate.
surprised of the pipeline.
Yeah, I mean, I know what I understand. Yeah.
Thank you. So you had mentioned an unhoused issue over by Vallejo High School and John Finney, and the fact that we do have the roaming unhoused communities kind of roaming around there, and whether that's on our radar with our unhoused coordinator with Natalie Peterson. If you do have issues of like that, I would recommend that you reach out to Natalie Peterson, or feel free to email me at my City of Vallejo email, not my school district one. So so feel free to email me that. And if there are other schools that have the graffiti around there, feel free to email me that, and then I can help coordinate that with our city staff to see if we can address that and get that to our VFOG department.
Definitely, sir, and because I know where you work, so I definitely always reach you. So, but also too, I want to thank the superintendent for involving me with the meetings with VPD, because those relationships really count when it comes to school activities. For example, we brought up the issue of the encampment on Corvus Field. And Captain Batista met with me that following week, and I want to say that encampment was removed probably within 2 weeks. So just being able to, communicate the needs of the school district when it comes to safety, because there was a lot of problems that we were incurring because of that encampment being right by our school site on a daily basis. So having that format to be able to discuss what's actually happening on our sites and the importance of, removing encampments, it made a world of difference. So thank you, Superintendent.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that to our attention, and that's where I appreciate these backdoor conversations that are happening that aren't necessarily on this dais for us to understand, but for us to know that that stuff is happening. I think that shows the great collaboration that the school district and the city of Vallejo are having, and let's continue to have that. I very much appreciate that. Thank you, Director Chisby. Any other questions or comments at this point? So that pretty much. Oh, go ahead, Public Works, come on up.
My name is Rodney Henderson, Public Works Supervisor for the traffic section. I'd like to just add some comments in regards to the graffiti and the VFOG program. One thing with the graffiti, that the traffic section is being proactive in regards to all of the schools that are being targeted by the graffiti on a weekly basis. We have did community outreach where we give out the consent forms to the residents to inform them that the city of Vallejo does have programs to assist with that type of activity. Once that is submitted to code enforcement, then I receive that information via email, and then I will issue out my staff members to remove the graffiti. The other thing is that in terms of the VFOG program itself, it's only Public Works that is maintaining the graffiti throughout the city of Vallejo. We only had minimum volunteer service, which it was a community outreach, which was last year, where a certain group came out and removed graffiti along a retaining wall, but we haven't had anything else since then. And so my staff is currently working every single day to remove graffiti, and we are very aware of the Meadows area and have talked with a lot of the residents in that area, and it's reoccurring. So we'll go there, remove it, and we have to go back the next day and keep removing the same thing over again. And so it'd be great if we had some type of enforcement in that area to help to assist us with removing the graffiti in that area. But I would like to say that we are, Public Works Traffic is proactive in regards to the graffiti in the area, and we will continue to be proactive at it because that is one of the things that is highly on my list. And also, to the gentleman that spoke, you can also submit a see-click-fix service request, and those requests go directly to me in an email format, and you will get a response from me within 24 hours, and I will have a staff member out there within 24 hours to remove the graffiti. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you for that update. We closed the public comment session on this, so I apologize on that. So in fact, we close out both C and D. Moving on to the next item on the agenda is item 10 is report out of the committee members. Anyone to report out? Mayor Source?
Yeah, I'll just quickly, back to the conversation earlier. Yeah, we're all going through. I appreciate your comments, Vice Mayor, because I think we're all going through it right now, and having that unity as a community is really important. And some of these forces are above us. And are going to need advocacy at the state level and at the federal level. And the question of the sort of, I don't want to call it, I'll call it opportunistic recruitment efforts is really concerning. And so I'll just reiterate what I've said up here, which is my full support in my role of VCUSD. And, just anything that I can do to amplify what you all are doing and make sure we get as many students here in our traditional public schools. The city serves everybody. We serve everybody no matter what school they're at. But, as the Vice Mayor says, we thrive when our school district thrives. And I think, for me, at least as an educator, I'm from a value standpoint, just always going to be supportive of our public schools.
Thank you for that, Mayor. Any other reports out of the committees? Any other members? Seeing none, we'll go move on to item 11, information calendar, and we have, if the secretary could read 11A.
11A, redone Vallejo City Unified School boundaries.
And I see the superintendent's light on. Go ahead.
So you all have a copy of the school boundary options report. Now, this was formally adopted in January by the governing board, the new boundaries. This report clearly lays out what will be the new boundaries with the removal of Highland, Pennycook, and Lincoln. 6 of our schools are directly impacted by that change, meaning their boundaries will grow and accept students. The other piece I really wanted to bring this to this body, knowing Mayor Source that you wear a different hat with transportation, specifically so we have in the report what our need is going to be around transportation, because we are obligated by our board policies to offer transportation when the residential school is outside a 1.5 mile radius. So there's calculations there, what we anticipate is going to be some of the transportation needs. And we're going to adjust accordingly to offer transportation for our families. But this is sort of as of right now. Obviously, these things shift once enrollment really opens up and we start to get real counts of students. But you can see sort of the new foundation or the new roadmap of our school boundaries, and they're much larger than they've been in the past. I do want to add, we'll say it's an adjacent topic to this because we are here for a reason, which is we had to close schools. And part of the reason we closed schools is because we've been declining enrollment for many years. One of the things the district is trying to do to have our families stay in Vallejo schools and also compete with charter schools and some of the options they might have is to ensure that we have a tight system of inter-district transfers. It's been far too long where transfers were just kind of accepted and granted without real much pressure at all. And so we've tightened up our policies, our practices around inter-district transfers. And in fact, the County Office of Education, the board, has an agenda item on March 11th at their board meeting specifically to discuss inter-district transfer appeals, because they are the appellate body when we potentially deny an appeal or deny a transfer. So I know we, district staff, board, we're going to be present at that meeting. And I know we had a great turnout of CSEA members today. We're all in this fight together. And this is, there's a lot of dots that get connected. One of those dots is making sure that our families see Vallejo as their first option and give us a shot. And also that the processes support us in doing so. So I encourage CSEA, I encourage VEA, I encourage the city, because we're all connected, to come out and speak at the SCOE board meeting.
Thank you for that, Superintendent. I think that's some great information to know. It's similar to the charter school bills, to where the school district can deny that charter, but they just simply can go to the Solano County Board of Education and try to get it approved through there. So those are some of the loopholes I think we would like to see how we can kind of tamp that down to make it to where the schools can be more prosperous moving forward. So. Any questions or comments for the superintendent regarding the school boundaries? Seeing none, moving on to agenda item number 12, future agenda items. Any thoughts, recommendations? I think I can start it off here. I think, and whether we had a finalization, I thought we were going to have a standing agenda item regarding the Nebraska Street update. So I think there was we heard that we were very close to getting that done, and so I'd love to hear an update or a finalization. Hoping the next report would be that everything's in and everything's working fine. So hope unless there's a quick update that we have right now to potentially close that out.
Well, I can do it brief. I know that we're targeting, I believe, the school district spring break timeframe, if that's correct. I'm not sure.
I don't know the specific timing. I know that we had to revise and finalize some of our CEQA paperwork, and so I think that might impact the timeline. But we did a significant amount of community engagement to make sure that stakeholders in the area, residents in the area who might experience some impacts related to the change in the traffic patterns have had a chance to weigh in. So I think we are very close. It may require that the city council adopt a resolution to approve the closure. So that's kind of the final bit of the CEQA analysis. If so, I think that's a pretty straightforward item to prepare. We'll bring that to the city council soon.
Appreciate that update. Any questions or comments?
Chair,
yes.
Originally, I hit because I was going to say for a future agenda item, I think we omitted it this time, but we wanted to recognize the former members of the committee.
Oh,
so
yes.
Can we
Yes.
add that to the next?
Yes. Yes, let's.
I just want to make sure we don't forget that one.
Thank you for reminding us, because that was something that obviously with all of our busy schedules kind of just slipped through the cracks on that one, and that is something that is much needed to make sure we acknowledge all the great work that the past committee members have done. So yes, thank you for that reminder. I think another one, and I thought I had it on this agenda item, but possibly not. But as an ASP, one of the programs that I was bringing up or mentioning was the safe camp. I don't know if it's called the safe camping, but there was a program that Angela Kelly Santos brought to our attention as ASPs to share with families of if they are living out of their car, if they potentially are unhoused. There's a facility over in Fairfield that was taking registration and being open to those families that may need a safe parking area to spend the night or have a safe place to stay. And I thought I had this on this agenda, but maybe we can get that for the future one and kind of speak to that a little bit more closely and stuff. But this is, and maybe I missed that maybe that was part of the repurposing of VCUSD school sites. So that was, I think, potentially the conversation we could have had there, where between the school district and even between the city of Vallejo, are there places like this? And I think we always run into the issue of the liability. Do we have the facilities for showers? Do we have the facilities for bathrooms and things of that nature? And ultimately, it comes down to who's the provider, who's going to be overseeing this type of place and where it potentially needs security. So those are the conversations I think that if we had the opportunity to have that here in the city of Vallejo versus our families having to go to Fairfield, I think that would be a much better fix. And I see Trustee Hodges' light on. Go ahead, Trustee Hodges.
Okay, yeah, forgive me if this has been talked about already, because it's my first time.
No, by all means.
But is there any update or any movement on the sale of the property, that the East Vallejo property, the old baseball fields?
That's
Rollingwood,
yeah,
the Rollingwood property.
Yeah, I think unless we can do a quick one here, I think that maybe have something on the agenda.
I think I have an update.
Oh, okay, there you go. Okay.
Let me. Okay, I'm happy to let you know. So the Planning Commission approved the planning entitlements back in November. The developer submitted their improvement plans to the site, which include things like grading plans, in December. We provided the first round of comments, and the developer's working on addressing those. So I know there had been a long delay in getting the entitlements approved. Those were approved back in November. And now I think things are moving along at their a normal, efficient rate regarding, now they have to submit their building plans, their grading plans, and all of that, and need to go through approval. But I think the major hurdle had been the planning entitlements. I actually don't know the specific terms of the sales agreement between the district and what the milestone is that would trigger the transfer of the property, and maybe I'll talk with the superintendent a little bit so we can provide future updates that are more targeted to where we're at relative to that milestone. But I think the project is now moving forward.
Trustee Young, did you have something?
Yes, well, the problem with it, that's $6 million that we can be using for our schools. And it's been held up through the bureaucracy of the city because of entitlements and all that stuff. But the bottom line is we need our money. And it's been in escrow for 4 years. I've never heard of a property sale being in escrow for 4 years. It's been in 4 years, yeah, going on 5, because I've been on the board for 5 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I think we've provided updates to prior meetings of the 2x2, and I don't recall all the details of that, nor do I know, as I mentioned, what the specific terms of the sales agreement are, but I'll connect with the superintendent so I know what that milestone is that would allow for the transfer funds. I know that's what you all are interested in, why this property is of interest to you.
Go ahead, Trustee.
Well, isn't there a way that you could expedite it? I'm relentless, okay?
Yeah, that's okay.
$6 million that can
Why don't
go
we,
to our kids.
Yeah, so in the, for a period before this had gotten its entitlements approved, we had provided a monthly update to the 2x2 committee members that talked about the history. And again, I think the milestone that had been the sticking point in the past was the entitlements, which have already been now approved. But I'm happy to we're happy to restart that process of regular updates to the 2x2 so that you know exactly where things stand.
One more question.
Sure.
Well, I got you front and center.
Yes.
Have you found the deed to our property over there yet?
I don't think that's it. So we provided updates, and we are happy to add this to the list of items. The city there are 3 steps that are needed for the school district to be able to sell the Walnut Street property. All of the 2 of the steps that involve the city have already been completed. The 1 remaining step requires that the school district reach an agreement with the Mare Island Company. And so the city is not a party to that conversation, I don't think. Otherwise, I think we've done or nearly completed all of the 2 city steps.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, any other last-second questions or items on future agenda items?
Vice Mayor,
Oh,
yes,
yes.
just, we did have a running list of future agenda items. One was the Nebraska street closure. So I just want to make sure I'm clear, the committee would like that to come back at the next meeting?
Yes, and it sounds like that might be the closeout conversation on that, hopefully.
Okay. And then we also have the, at the last meeting, Vice President Flores asked for a financial infrastructure update for biking corridors for students. Is that something that you all would like to come back at the next meeting?
I think in his absence, I think the fact that he brought it up, if that's a special request from him, I think we could try, if we have information that we can provide update for that, I think he would appreciate that.
Okay. And lastly, we left off with defining the mission and intent of the 2x2, that coming back. Is that something you all are interested at the next meeting?
I think that would be something good, a good conversation piece for us to kind of potentially get a more focused look and see what actionable items we are able to move forward as a combined body here.
Okay.
Thank you for that. Mayor Source?
That reminds me, I will be out of town for the next meeting. I will see if I can remote in, or we will follow up. It is my spring break, so I will be out.
And in fact,
it will be the district spring break too, actually, I think. Not that that matters for others.
And the fact you mentioned that, because I will actually be at a conference that morning, so I will either be zooming in from either the hotel or the airport that I'll be flying back.
Maybe we should find another date.
Oh, well, I mean, I think that's something.
I'm out that day.
Oh, so
Okay, we're going to find another date.
So it looks like we're going to have to reschedule the next meeting to see if we can. So I'll ask our staff to see if we can kind of poll for a next date in or around the 26th to see if there's something that the majority of us can be able to attend. So I think it was great that we brought that up. Thank you for bringing it up, Mayor Source. So look forward to a different date for our March meeting potentially. So and if there's nothing else for that, we've got 4 minutes to spare before our next commission meeting starts. So we are finished on time, adjourning this meeting.